Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next episode of Podcast with Ambrosia. Today, we have a very special guest. In the first place, a very dear friend of mine. And at the moment, he is a student at the Integrative Transpersonal Psychotherapy study at the Center for Counseling and Psychotherapy Education in London. He is very passionate about mediumship, astrology, and healing. And his aim is to merge these passions with his career as a therapist. And his love for life has helped him to collect many different experiences, from traveling the world to stand-up comedian, and finally, you're not gonna believe this, being an actual MMA fighter in a cage fight. We'll get to that a bit later in the podcast, but I want to welcome with a very warm heart, Lance Curran. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's an absolute honor to be invited on here and to do this with you. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it all day.
Thank you for accepting. I hope you didn't have any bad dreams last night about doing this podcast. So,
no.
Okay.
No, but I know we become very naughty and giggly together. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yes, we have to keep it a bit decent, or otherwise Spotify will block the podcast or something. I don't know. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Very well. Yeah. Busy.
Yes. Last time we spoke, you were involved in several projects. But let me start by how we met, right? That was at CPS, the College of Psychic Studies in London, where we started training as a medium together. And we both finished that course. So it was interesting. The first time I saw you, I thought, like, who is he? What is that guy doing here? You know? And it was very interesting. By the more I was getting to know you, the more interesting you were, because we start chatting, during lunch and everything, and you would start talking about your travels, about this, about that. Oh, and I'm born over here, and then I lived over there. So explain to our listeners, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, being born, and where did you live, and all this stuff, because
Wow.
It's fascinating for me again to hear.
Yeah, so I was born in Ireland, so I am an Irishman. I even did the DNA test because I was curious to see. I was excited to see where everything I come from, and 98% Irish. But yeah, we left Ireland when I was 2, and we moved to America. I guess my parents were looking for that American dream in the 80s.
Yeah.
And we moved to New Jersey, and we lived in New Jersey for quite a while, for a few years. And then we went back to Ireland, and we lived there. We lived in Roscommon and Wicklow for about maybe 4 or 5 years. And then we got our green cards, so we were legally allowed to live in America. And we moved back to America, and we moved to Easton, Pennsylvania, just kind of outside of Philadelphia. And we were there for about 5 years. And then my dad got a job in London. So we moved to London for about 9 months. And then we moved back to my mom wanted us to graduate high school from America. So we moved back to America, and we went to Baltimore. And then we lived in Baltimore. Well, I lived in Baltimore for about 1997 till about 2005. And then I moved to London, because my parents moved back in 2001, just after 9/11. And yeah, me and my 2 brothers stayed in America till 2005. And then me and my eldest brother moved here, and I've been in London since besides a year off. I took a year off and I went traveling. I lived in Australia for a year by myself.
Yeah. And as I can hear, you lived also in the States by yourself then, because your parents were already back and you stayed to finish your education.
I finished I graduated high school 2000. So about a year after I graduated, my parents were like, well, you guys are old enough. And yeah, they left. I think I was about 19.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's fascinating. I think that learned you quite a lot for life.
I grew up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Nothing against my brothers, but yeah, I always saw them as being the eldest and they were going to look after me. And then I ended up having to kind of hold us together and look after us.
Oh.
We kind of did it together. I don't want to say they did nothing. No, we did it together, but I grew up really quickly. I understood that rent needed to be paid on time, that bills were needing to pay. If you didn't pay your electricity, they cut you off in America.
Do they?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
couldn't do a trade like I have 5 kilograms of oranges and you give me some electricity? No.
No.
All right. But I guess because we know each other, I think about 5-6 years now, and I noticed that you are a well-grown man, with a beautiful intelligence and but also with a very strong energy. I think this lifestyle up from being a young man and have to be adult, right, has made you stronger. Don't you think so?
Yes, but I also think that kind of changed for me at around 15.
Okay.
I was very I guess you could say I was very sad, very depressed, I felt lonely, I felt invisible. And again, I guess I had a bit of thoughts of not wanting to be on this planet anymore, this life. I was really sad, and I decided not to do what I was thinking about doing. And I said, I want to be happy from now on. I think that was a really powerful moment for me at 15. And I've always kind of looked at the brighter side of things. And I think it's got stronger as I got older, and learning about gratitude and being grateful, and learning about being grateful for the bad things that happened to me. So I'm grateful for being that low, because I guess you can't experience the highs without knowing what the lows are like.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I think at around 15, being surrounded by everyone and just thinking no one loved you, or I was invisible. And actually then I was like, you know what, I can be on my own. I can do this on my own. This doesn't define my happiness. I define my happiness.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of those moments. And again, parents leaving and learning to be an adult really early. Yeah. Again, I think you graduate high school at 18, you're an adult, but you still have a lot. I'm 38 and I'm still learning about being an adult.
I think we all do. I'm nearly hitting my 55 in a few months. Even I am still learning. I'm not saying every day, but at least every week.
Yeah.
It never stops. Life is a learning curve from day one up to the last day. It's
learning about myself really now. I think I've got life. I always said life is simple. We complicate things.
That's spot on. Yeah.
I said that to someone. They're like, "Well, what about COVID?" And I was like, "Well, COVID it's happened. We learn to live with it. We get on with life."
Exactly.
Something bad happens. You lose a loved one. We know it's going to happen. We complicate it with our feelings and get in touch with our feelings. And yeah, I'm learning to every day is beautiful. Try missing every day, I say.
Well, you learn a lot and completely different things. You learned about mediumship. We did it together. We had a lot of fun. I remember.
We did, yeah. And again, if someone had asked me 10 years ago, do you see yourself doing psychic mediumship, I would have laughed at them and said, no, that's not who I am.
What triggered you to enter this course?
I guess if I really trace it back, it would have been my uncle. He gave me a book one day in Ireland, and it was a Gordon Smith book. And it's probably the first book in my life, and still today, that I finished in one day. I could not put it down. I was just like, how cool would it be to talk to the dead, the spirits?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And he introduced me to Gordon Smith. And then we went to go see one of his demonstrations in London years after that. And he asked me, what did I get out of it? And I was like, nothing.
Mhm.
If he gave me a reading, it would be different. But and then he said, would you go see a medium? And I said, no, I'm not grieving. There's no one that's passed that I want to talk to. And he said, there's more that you could get out of it. So I went to go see a medium. And then they started telling me, oh, you've got gifts? And I was like, I don't have nothing, lady. They were like, do you meditate? And I was like, no. And she was like, you will. And I was like, no, I won't. And then, yeah, when I went to Australia, I got into meditations and guided meditations, and everything started kind of popping open. And I had like this out of body experience. And yeah, it kind of changed me. I started wanting to face my fears. I wanted to start doing things that made me feel uncomfortable. And then when I came back to London after Australia, I was kind of getting back into that whole London slippery slope of hanging out with the wrong people, drinking too much, partying. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. And I kind of I went to the Wellbeing Festival.
Right. Yes.
And that's where I found a stall of the College of Psychic Studies. And I was kind of like, how do you study to be a psychic? I thought that these are natural gifts. And he says, we all have them. We just have to relearn how to open them. And I was like, interesting. So I took the flyer, and I think it sat on my dresser drawer for about 5 months. And it called out to me one day, and I was like, let me check out this website. And I think they had like an open house like a week later. So I signed up to it. And I was really big into angels and angel communication. So I wanted to go do a workshop there about angels on the open night, and it was sold out. So I went into the next room, and it was pretty much full. There was one seat available in the front. And I was like, oh, I don't want to sit in the front. And I did. And it was about psychic mediumship, and Gary Wright, the teacher who was giving it, he was just so enthusiastic, and I don't know, he drew me in, and he says, you know, if you're going to sign up for my foundation course, do it quickly, because I sell out quickly. So I just got up and left, and I went down to the reception and I signed up to it, and that's kind of how my journey started.
Yeah.
And
Speaking
yeah,
of coincidence, isn't it? Angel sold out, so I go to the next room, and there's one place in the front. You know, I know, because I ended up registering for the mediumship course 2 months before it actually started. We were in London, my wife and I, and we were just strolling around in London, and we were in South Kensington, where CPS is. And it catched my eye, like, College of Psychic Studies, what is that? And I went in, and I thought, like, this feels good. It felt like home, you know, for me. And I took this leaflet, this book leaflet, you know, with all the courses, and we came home, and a few days later, I was just browsing through it, you know, like, yeah, no, not for me. Oh, no. So I put it down. And I remember the next day, I picked it up again, and I just opened it, and immediately it was on this page of Gordon Smith. And I looked at it. I didn't even read it. And I thought, like, yes, I'm going to do this. And I think about a month and a half later, I was sitting at CPS in front of Gordon Smith, of Teach Me. That's the coincidence. I mean, yeah. But after your mediumship, you then developed a bit further, because you did a course on astrology and one on magic, I think.
it was the same course, funny enough.
All right.
I've always been kind of interested in astrology, and the College of Psychic Studies had a course called Astrology and Magic. And I got so excited by astrology, I didn't read the whole thing. I thought I was going to an astrology class, and I remember the first day we were drawing pentagrams, and I was like, "What the hell are we doing? I didn't sign up for this." And I was like, I paid the money. I'm in the course. Let's just continue. Let's not kick stones, or let's not disturb anyone. So yeah, I stuck with it and absolutely fell in love with it. Yeah, it was like planetary magic. So you're using the energies of all the planets.
Yeah,
Um, but
fascinating.
it was yeah, fascinating, but it was very intriguing. I thought it was an astrology, learning about astrology, which I've started later doing, but yeah, I should learn how to read full sentences, astrology and magic. But I just saw astrology and got really excited. But that was, again, that opened up loads of different things for me. And it's yeah, you start mediumship, and then you learn about tarot, and then you want to learn the cards, and then you learn about astrology, and you want to learn about astrology. It's just a never-ending wormhole that you just go down. And
now
yeah,
you're in this study, integrative transpersonal psychotherapy, which is pure scientifically therapy. Do you feel there are connections with what you learned in the spiritual side with what you are learning studying now, or that you would be like you would like to do, that you can blend it?
yeah. So as I found out as a psychic medium, I was clairsentient, so I was a big feeler,
Okay.
and I was very disconnected from my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So when spirit would come in and I'm feeling all this stuff, which was all kind of new to me, I wasn't understanding it. I was kind of pushing it away and kind of rejecting it, saying, no, I want to see spirit. I want to hear spirit. That's easier for me. So learning about my feelings was really challenging for me. And then people coming in, you're kind of giving readings and they're grieving. And I was kind of like, this, I feel like a counselor. So I started looking at counseling courses to kind of help with that.
Yeah.
I also had an idea about a homeless. I'd love to help the homeless, and I was like, oh, I'd love to have a homeless hotel. And I was like, oh, how can you help the homeless if you don't know how to help them mentally?
Yeah.
So, with the psychic stuff, and then some of the ideas I had, I was like, I really need to learn how to be a counselor. So I was looking at like 2-year courses to be a counselor, and then I found CCPE, which was a transpersonal course, which is about it has like this spiritual kind of aspect to it. And I was just like, this is exactly what I want.
That's it. Yeah.
And like you said, when you went to the College of Psychic Studies, the energy of the building. When I went to CCPE, the energy of that building was magical as well, and it felt like home. It felt like another home. And yeah, I did the foundation year just to test the waters to see if it's something I like, because never did therapy in my life, never been to therapy, knew nothing about being a therapist. And yeah, it was a scary start to the journey, because it's a 5-year journey, and you think 5 years is a long time. I don't want to study for 5 years. I've got so much things to do and want to occupy my life.
Commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've just started year 4, so I've got 2 years left.
Yeah.
It goes by a lot quicker than you think it will.
Well, I know about you because I don't know you completely for 100%, but what I know about you is that you are not a quitter. No, because that's when I saw this on social media. I know you were training, but I thought like, right, that's just for his fitness, He wants to train. I did some martial arts when I was younger also, some kickboxing and everything, just for, fun and being a bit more sportive and everything. So I thought like, all right, he's boxing. Well, yeah, that's keeping him fit, keeping him out of the street, And then suddenly, I think about 2 weeks ago, I saw this thing on social media. Lance Curran in his first MMA cage fight. I thought, no way. He's not going to do this. But then immediately I thought like, yes, he's going to do this because he doesn't quit. Lance doesn't quit. He's gonna do that. Lance, tell our listeners and our viewers about this cage fight.
Um,
Why did you do it?
I guess I've been trying to look inwards, and anything that scares me, I kind of want to do it, because we're here trying to live a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that happens to us is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, to me, nothing bad was going to happen to me. All I could do is grow as a person. And I have grown and learned so much about myself through that one experience.
Can you give us one example on in which area you felt this grown for yourself?
I had this idea that I needed to prove myself to the world.
Okay.
I realized I need to prove nothing to anyone, not even to myself. Like, I know, like you said, I'm not a quitter. Why I needed to prove to the world that I can do it, which most people know that if I set my mind to it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Again, learning to be a therapist, I need to be in therapy. So it was a popular question for a very long time. What are you fighting for? Why are you fighting? I came up with many different reasons, maybe wrong or right, a lot to do with trying to prove myself as a man, trying to prove myself to my dad that I'm worthy. There could be cultural beliefs, growing up in America and wanting to fit in and wanting to be Irish. There's that whole, the Irish, they're fighting Irish. So did I need to, lots of theories in my head of why I might have wanted to do it. And I made peace with it before I got into the cage. And I remember being in the cage and I was really happy. Most people were scared and I was just happy to be there and watching
You told
back.
me the next day you were laughing during the whole match.
I was smiling, having a good time. It's probably why he won, because I was having a great time and he was trying to knock my head off.
Yeah. But that's typically you, isn't it? Having fun or trying to have fun in everything.
I was smiling before the fight. I was smiling in the fight, and I was smiling after the fight, and I'm still smiling.
Yes.
It was a great experience. And again, like I said, I've grown as a person. I know I'm not a fighter. I know I'd love to know where the mind of a real fighter has to go to get into that cage.
Okay.
Because I can't bring myself to that darkness.
So perhaps it's a nice experience for taking into your counsel when you become a counselor later on how this thing here on top of our head works, and as for certain people.
Oh no, completely. And again, I'm learning about myself. I'm learning what triggers me. So if I'm sat in front of someone that has issues with their father, I can relate, because again, I don't think I have issues with my father. We have a great relationship, but there's little things as a child that might trigger me that I don't realize that's there.
Perhaps it's the 15-year-old boy.
A 15-year-old little boy, a younger little boy. Maybe I wanted my dad's attention, and I said, "Hey, Daddy," and he was having a bad day, and he said, "Just give me a minute, son," and I took it as rejection.
Yeah.
There's so many little things, and as infants that we don't even realize, we still pick up on that energy. We're still sensitive.
Of course we do. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That stuff affects us without us even knowing what's been happening to us.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, putting myself in that position in that fight was absolutely one of the best experiences of my life. And like you said, it's a story to tell the grandchildren.
I think you have more than one story to tell your grandchildren later on, because there's another issue in your, there's another aspect. Let me call it it's not an issue. Guy, why are you saying an issue? There's another aspect in your life that you are very dedicated to, that you came in contact with when you learned when you met your lovely girlfriend. You're a vegan.
I am vegan. Yes,
You're a vegan.
6 years.
And I know we talked several times about being a vegan, and you never tried to convince me to become a vegan. That's what I love about you also. But we talked about it, and I remember you worked in a vegan restaurant, and we came to visit you. For me, it was a completely unknown world. And I said to you, if you said, what would you like to eat? And I said, surprise me. And you did surprise me with lovely food. But you're a vegan, but you're very dedicated to it. So tell us a little bit, what, because also I think our listeners want to know, because veganism was a bit of a, first it was a bit of a fashion thing, wasn't it? But now it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Why did you turn to vegan? What was your, and don't tell me I had to from my lovely lady.
No, I decided to go vegan before I even knew who Mylène was.
Oh, okay. I thought it was when you met her.
No, she helped me huge. She helped me tremendously because she was already on that path. Again, it was the universe. It was. So the story, again, when I was in Australia and I was learning to meditate, I'd come out of meditation and I kept thinking, I need to give up meat. And I was like, how can I give up meat? What am I going to eat if I don't eat meat? So I was like, I'll never give up meat. I'll never give up meat. And continued meditation, kept thinking I need to give up meat. And I was like, I'll never give up meat. And then I kind of started reading like self-help books, and I started telling myself, why am I keep telling myself I can't give up meat? I can do whatever I want. So I was like, you know what? Let me give vegetarianism a go. I'm going to give up meat for a month or a year just to see how I feel. And that was at the beginning of 2016. So I was a vegetarian for a month when I met Mylène, and Mylène was like, "Oh, I'm a vegan." And I was like, "Oh my God, I want to be a vegan." Not a clue what a vegan was, but didn't understand the benefits, didn't understand anything about it. It was meditation. It was like this, I guess, getting in tune with my body, and my body was saying, you need to give up meat. So yeah, I never pushed.
I think there's a difference between giving up meat and giving up completely all animal products.
Yeah. Again, I guess again, I'm not a strict vegan. If I go to my mom's house and she has a piece of cake, I'm going to eat it. And I'm sure
Yes.
there's eggs and dairy in it.
Because it's mom's cake, isn't it? They're the best.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not going to kill me. No, again, I could eat a piece of meat. It's my choosing. I choose not to do it. It's not that I can't eat it. I choose not to eat certain things. So it's a personal choice. And again, it's, I guess, getting in tune with my body is why I went vegan. My body was saying, give it up. So I always say to people, if you tune into your body and you listen to your body will tell you what it wants. Mm-hmm. It's your brain that's saying, I want a piece of chicken.
Can you agree that veganism is not for everybody?
Yeah, I've met some people and they said they need to eat meat. There's a lady who channels, and she said she needs to eat meat afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I always say, if you're going to eat meat, you should bless your food. Thank that animal for its sacrifice. Thank that animal for giving up its life for the purpose of you. Yeah. If you look in the old traditional days, they blessed their food before they ate it.
Exactly. And a lot of Americans still do it. They pray before they eat.
Yeah.
So, we did it in Europe also, but that's a while ago.
I think a lot of people have probably stopped blessing their food and stopped being thankful for it. It's just become so accessible, because my parents are like, well, it's never affected us. And I was like, because you guys, the farming industry was completely different.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All these animals are pumped with antibiotics, and then we're putting these antibiotics into our system, and then when we need antibiotics, they're not really working. But again, like, I'm not a scientist. I'm only learning loads about it in my journey of being a vegan. And again, I like honey. I'm not one of those vegans that doesn't eat honey. It's more about meat for me.
Animal, well, yeah, meat and related to meat products and everything.
Dairy upsets my stomach now, so I don't want to eat it. But again, if I had a little bit of it, not going to kill me.
I don't think that. For me, there are no food products that can kill a person, because you hear a lot about people who now who have allergies, or food intolerances and everything. Now, up to a certain level, I believe it can be something purely physical, right? As from the body. But I think in a lot of cases, there's also some energetic thing that is blocking your system, so you can eat nuts, or avocados, or
Yeah.
whatever they are allergic to.
How long does a person take? How long does it take to digest a piece of meat? It takes a while.
I think it's about, is it 16 hours or something?
Yeah, and if you're eating meat in the morning, you're eating meat for lunch, you're eating meat at dinner time, your body is constantly digesting. It doesn't have any time to heal. It doesn't have any time to do the other stuff it needs. So again, if you want to eat meat, treat yourself. You don't have to eat so much of it.
Yeah.
Listen to your body. Your body will tell you. Get in tune with your body and listen to it.
Well, that's what you do. I know you.
What I'm practicing to do, again, I am guilty of eating stuff that I probably shouldn't eat.
We all do. We all do.
I do have a sweet tooth. I do love the sugary stuff.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
The sweet stuff, the chocolate.
Love coffee. I could drink coffee. I could drink a cup of coffee right before bed, and I'm still snoozing.
That's because you're still young. Try it at my age.
Like the Red Bulls, they never interested me. I never got anything out of them. Yeah, all I really kind of drink now is coffee, water, and a pint of Guinness.
Well, Guinness is made of water, so there you go, and it has the same color as coffee. So.
And iron for the muscles.
Yeah, of course. And if you drink a pint of Guinness and well, yeah, no, sorry, not for you, you're vegan, but for our other listeners, a pint of Guinness and a raw egg in it, it's very good for a hangover. There you go. Oh, well, they say, I don't know.
I'll have the pint of Guinness without the egg. Hold the egg.
Have the pint of Guinness without the egg. Yes.
But again, even going vegan, I've learned so much about different foods that I've never even knew about.
Of course. Yes.
I've become a better cook, learned about different spices, learned how to season food. Again, it's part of my journey, part of listening to the universe, listening to myself, going quiet and letting the mind just whatever comes in and listening to it.
You cook sometimes, or more, just with your gut feeling?
I'm getting better at it. I used to need a recipe in front of me. Now I'm getting better at going into the kitchen and saying, oh, okay, I've got mushrooms in the fridge. I've got courgettes. Let's throw something together. Oh, that would be nice in a couscous. And gotten better at it. Yeah,
using this spices, that spices.
Right? Yeah. Portion size, I used to be horrible. I used to look like I was making food for the whole village, and now I'm getting cooking for the two of us.
I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes my wife asks when she comes into the kitchen and I'm cooking, she says like, "Oh, do we have visitors today?"
Yeah, it's like
I'm not aware of. No, it's just for us.
Oh. Just for us for the rest of the week.
Well, yeah. Thank God for a fridge and a freezer.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
One small part in your life that I still want to talk about, which I find your whole life fascinating, in fact. When we were training as a medium, at a certain point you said to me, "Hey, I have a gig tonight. Would you like to come?" And I said to you, "A gig?" And I immediately thought like, he's in a rock band or something, Oh, no, it's a stand-up comedian thing. And I thought like, yeah, I want to see this. So I came, you did your gig. It was fantastic. I had a great laugh. Lance, how did you roll in stand-up comedy?
Again, I guess it's one of those things with MMA. I wanted to face my fears. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to prove to people that I could do it. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. I've always loved comedy. I love laughing. I found out I'm funnier without a microphone. Yeah, it was just one of those challenges I wanted to get up and do, and it was a great year. I did it for about a year. Not saying I'll never do it again. It was definitely fun and challenging. Uh, there is a craft to it. It is a professional craft. I didn't take it serious. I didn't write daily. I didn't write jokes. I didn't prepare for gigs. Yeah, it was more of a hobby and a something I enjoyed doing for a year. I went to America to visit my brother in Baltimore, and I signed up for a comedy night. So technically, I'm a worldwide comedian. So I've gigged in London and America.
You're international.
International, yeah.
So you can go and stand beside Dara O'Brien and Mike McIntyre and these guys and say like, "Hi, I'm Lance."
Yeah. Maybe they know my name and they're like, "Where's this guy gone?" And who knows?
Yeah. Well, he's training at the moment. So,
Yeah. But I'd love to do it again. Especially, yeah, especially now that I've got to know myself more. I don't think I was being as vulnerable as I could have been on the stage. And I rewatch comedians now and the likes of them. They're so vulnerable on stage. They show such a true side to them. I wasn't doing that when I was trying comedy. So I'd like to try it again where I know how to be a bit more vulnerable. Because that's what makes people, it's why you like comedians, because you can relate to them.
Yeah, exactly.
My stories, I wasn't showing a vulnerable side. I was just trying to show a funny side. And people probably saw through it and was just like, this guy, he's just doing the normal fart jokes or sex jokes, the easy jokes that can make people laugh. But I wasn't showing a vulnerable side to myself. So yeah, again, another experience in my life that I've learned and grown from.
You are very sensitive, isn't it?
I'm a very sensitive fella. Yeah.
Yeah.
My family have always said it, and then when I'm able to look at them now through a different perspective, I'm like, we're all sensitive people. Why do you guys think I'm so sensitive? But we're all sensitive people.
Some of them are more.
I'm particularly sensitive. Yeah. I'm learning about myself. I don't want to say I'm less sensitive, but less things bother me. I used to take things personal, but now I realize it's not all about me.
No.
People would project onto me and I'd take it. And yeah. Again, I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about people. But yeah, I'm a sensitive soul. I think I'm an old soul.
Oh, I don't think that. I'm sure. So I'm not gonna say you're older than me. Surely not as in a person. But I know this is not the first time that we are here together, and perhaps we were brothers in arms or brothers in trouble.
I'm catching up to you a little bit though in the beard.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, you're at least 15 years younger than I, so you have plenty of time, don't worry. So you have been through all these experiences, right? Traveling the world, stand-up comedian, mediumship, astrology, magic, MMA fights. At the moment, studying for counseling. Are there any other plans in your head that you think like, you know what, this could be my new challenge?
One day at a time. I'm really trying to connect mind and body at the moment. Really, really understand myself. Yeah, that's my next challenge right now. Is I say I'm connected to my body, which I am, but is my mind connected to my body fully? That's my challenge at the moment. Really yeah. There's a little exercise Malen did with me, and she said, name 5 things you want to do. And I named 5. And then she took 2 of them and said, out of the 2, which do you want to do? And I said, oh, I want to do A. And she took A. And then she said, out of A and C, what do you want to do? And I said, Actually, C. I'd rather do C. And then she said, out of C and D, what do you want to do? And I was like, C. She's like, out of C and E, what do you want to do? And I was like, C. And it was, I guess to make it more, I said, I want to do rock climbing. I want to learn how to surf. I want to learn about herbalism. I want to learn about my body. And I don't even remember the fifth one now. And then, yeah, it came down to, I want to learn about my body. And then I found it interesting that I want to be comfortable with my body, emotionally naked, physically naked. I want to really appreciate and love my body. And it dawned on me, I was like, maybe I put myself through MMA because I hated my body so much. I was going to let someone beat up on it. Subconsciously was I doing this. So yeah, I really want to get in tune with my body and actually be grateful that I'm able to walk. I'm able to, I've got my fingers. There's so many people out there that don't have feet, that can't walk, can't run. Yeah, I have a beautiful body. I want to appreciate it.
Yeah.
So that's my next kind of goal, is really get in tune and appreciate my body.
And perhaps we also leave the option open for becoming a fighter jet plane pilot or something.
I think that's on my list after I'm in tune with my body.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a picture of you in a fighter plane one day.
Yeah, and again, you get into manifestation, law of attraction. You know, the world is our oyster. Whatever we want, we can have.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If I wanted to be an actor and I really wanted to focus on it, maybe I could be an actor. Look out, Brad Pitt.
Would you be a good actor?
Oof. Would I be a good actor? I'd make good films. How about that?
That's a producer then.
Well, no, I'd be in good films. I'd choose my roles wisely, but would I be a good actor? I don't know.
Okay. We'll leave that up to the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of actors out there doing great movies, and are they good actors? Who knows?
The one I like, perhaps you don't like them. The ones you like, that's this beauty about being different.
Harsh, isn't it?
8 billion people on the planet at the moment. I lost count. That we are all different. Some have the same taste about clothing, but not the same taste about actors. And
my dad loves Steven Seagal, and I have no idea why.
I have to tell. Oh, Steven Seagal. Yeah. I remember. He's not one of my favorites. Also, I find him a bit pushy. So,
but Marlon Brando, that's the greatest. That's the GOAT.
Marlon Brando. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. And I like Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Paul Newman, the old guys. But, it's new times, new people, new energy. So, but we're coming towards the end of our podcast. And I was wondering, Lance.
Uh-oh.
No, not uh-oh. I was wondering if you would be allowed, well, you are allowed, but if you would want to give one thing to our listeners or viewers out of your own experience in life, with all these magical things you did, what one advice would you give them?
The first word that came to my mind is belief. So like belief in yourself that you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful.
The only ones that hold us back is ourselves, really.
Yeah.
It's that little voice in your head that says you can't do it. But then you find out who that little voice is, and it's a part of you. Mm-hmm. And you connect to all these different parts of you. I connected to my inner child and found out what he wanted and gave him what he wanted, and he relaxed a bit more, which let me kind of move on. And then you connect with my adolescent Lance, and I found out what he was missing, and I gave him what he wanted. Mm-hmm. You can give these people anything they want because it's all up here.
Yeah.
If little Lance wants a big jet, give him a big jet. All you have to do is just think, give him a jet, and he's pretty happy. it was funny because I was doing a little meditation to connect with my inner child, and I went out to my garden, and I live right beside a school. I can hear the kids now. I got really frustrated because I could hear them. I was like, "Oh, you little!" I'm trying to meditate, and then I was like, "You know what? Use their voices to let my little kid come out and go play with them." It was the
That's,
most powerful thing. That kid just wanted to go out. He didn't even sit with me. He went and played with the kids in the
yeah.
schoolyard, and it was so
Yeah.
powerful. So yeah, connect with all different aspects of yourself, and don't hold yourself back. You can do anything you want.
This is very beautiful advice, especially the word that you said, believe in yourself. Anything is possible. And if there is one man that I know who's doing this is you, is Lance Curran. When he puts his mind through something, on something, he does it. And
And be grateful.
sometimes he has things that doesn't work out, but he goes on because he believes in himself.
Yeah, it's be grateful for the things that don't work out, because something better is actually ahead of you.
Yeah, perhaps it's not our cup of tea.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Lance, thank you very much for this tremendous, interesting podcast. I thought I knew you, but I saw a complete new Lance next to the one I already know. I learned things from you that I didn't knew. I know now. And I must say, I even have more respect and friendship for you now.
Is that possible? I thought there was so much respect between us.
There is, but there's always room for more, my friend. Always,
Always room for more.
always room. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving all these lovely words to our listeners.
Thank
So
you for having me, and yeah, anytime you want me to come back, I'm more than welcome.
yes, and I hope to see you soon somewhere live,
In person.
in person. They call it. Yes.
I'm a hugger, so yeah, give me just, yeah, come on in.
I walk on the street with my arms open. Anybody can jump into it. No worries.
Me too.
So thank you very much. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Lance. And have a good life.
You too, my friend. You too.
Thank you. Bye.